All right, so I don't know if anybody will show up, but I'm here sorting something that is over 100 years old. This is a vintage paper doll collection, and there are hundreds of these envelopes where I have different paper dolls inside of them that were collected by my grandmother. So in the 1930s, she clipped these out of newspapers, and I'm here to share them with you today. So this first one's name is Sylvia. So this was pre-cut by my grandma and put onto cardboard paper just to make it more sturdy. So she was really kind of thinking ahead on how to preserve these. On the back of these is wording because this was clipped out from a magazine, and so it's really thin magazine paper. So here's something from the mailbag. So this was like a write-in for advice type thing. So there's advice about dating, sitting at a table for two with girls and boys, what to do at dances, how to ask somebody for a dance. So, you know, even though this is 100 years old, it still feels oddly relevant. And then, of course, on the flip side were these beautiful, just beautiful fashions. So here's the next one. This is probably the fanciest one. So there's these tiny little tabs. Very tiny, very worn too. So this is one that my grandma, I think, must have played with quite a bit. There we go. The necks are all bent because I put it on like that. Okay, so there's that beautiful outfit. I'll move this one. And I think the best feature about this outfit is this, oh gosh, it's just a beautiful sun hat. This is like a garden party type dress, or wedding dress. So that fits like that. I think that's like the perfect way to do it. So yeah, so that's the outfit from the 1930s for Sylvia. So this is from a magazine. It's very thin paper. And my grandma would have cut this out of a magazine, and there would have been several different fashions to cut out very carefully. And she put this together and saved them in an envelope. So almost 100 years later, I get to look at it. Now, this is very small, this top. It is very dainty. I'm not even sure how it was appropriate in that time. So I'm guessing this was a bathing suit or for modeling or summertime. There's that. And the cute boy shorts. Again, it seems like not even an outfit that's 100 years old could be relevant today. This one is a little bit harder to place. I'm not sure if it was drawn out correctly. And then a bathing cap, which seems to have been the norm at the time. So yeah, there's that outfit. And that's Sylvia wearing an outfit that's, I just can't even believe that this is almost 100 years old. This fashion seems so relevant today. And then the outfit that we started with was this one, which was a little bit more formal, like business formal, more for work, I suppose. There we go. So there's that one. I mean, just look at that. I mean, even the ink that was used for this is holding up so well. I'll try and zoom in a bit here. Yeah, so that's Sylvia. It just like amazes me that these paper dolls have kept so well over the last 100 years or so. And that's thanks to my grandmother. Now there's several other ones here. I have a male doll. I have one named Mary Ellen and one named Mildred. So each of these is labeled and has different different names that my grandmother named it. So we'll take a quick look at Ken here. This one is really interesting. It's very rare to have male paper dolls, or I should say cutouts, because both boys and girls would have played with these outfits. I've heard people recounting how they, as a boy or growing up as girls, like would cut these out and play with them together. So definitely an activity for everybody. So this is Ken. This is how he came in his loafers and his shorts and his undershirt. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell, but Ken has very, very, very red lips. But we've got some interesting outfits from the 1930s to put on him. So we're looking at vintage fashion today. And, and this is for people, I suppose, who are interested in fashion or vintage aesthetic, the 1930s, old Canadiana, male fashion. I mean, it's just not often that we get to handle paper that's 100 years old and also get some insight into what the fashions were in the at the in the 1920s, so really like 100 years ago. So that's a formal outfit there. And we have a hunting outfit. This one's one of my favorites. It's so brightly colored. And I'm really trying to identify if it's from the 1920s or 30s. As you can see, it's kind of got that look of like breeches and lumberjack and boots and socks. So this reminds me of the RCMP uniforms that are based off the fashion of this time too. So there we have kind of a trickier outfit to put down. You can see how those tabs work. It's always easier when I edit them. So yeah, that's how that one looks. He does have a hunting cap. Looks like that. I won't fiddle around with it too much. But isn't that interesting? It's not often that we get to see, fashion that men would have worn, not only for business occasions, but also for leisure and relaxation as well. So I'll just do this last outfit. Take off that hat. And this one I think is just the best. I think it's just so funny. He's got like a scarf. I think this is like a smoking jacket. It's from a cool culture that I wouldn't know. There's like a neckerchief there to, keep the draft out. So yeah, this is some pretty interesting loungewear and loafers. So that is Ken. I think we might look at one more set. That was Ken. I think next we're going to look at Mary Ellen. We'll see if that one's kind of different. So these are all handmade envelopes that my grandmother made and labeled very carefully. They're hard to preserve. So this is Mary Ellen. So this has pretty fabulous outfits here. As you can see, quite the assortment there. This really looks 1920s to me. This does not say 1930s to me. There's just some beautiful detailing. So you can see my grandmother with her beautiful writing wrote Mary Ellen in that cursive that just cannot be replicated these days. And we'll look first at this outfit. It looks to be like 2 pieces, 3 if you add the hat. Again, these are very thin. They're made from magazines. So this is how this one fits. It's tricky. It's a very tactile thing. So that's like a beautiful 1920s outfit. And there is a hat that goes with it. Ooh, it's tricky to put on. So each of these would have had different accessories. I'm gonna give up on this. Each of these had different accessories. Maybe this one's better. And almost always came with like hats or different accessories. Some of them came with like umbrellas or scarves. There you go. That was probably the right one anyways. So just maybe like 2 more outfits we'll look at here. Again, these are outfits that have carried through time. A lot of the different kind of fashion lines and styles and accessories have definitely carried over into other eras. I'll be looking at the 1970s and some catalogs where you can see how the fashion from the 1920s actually had like a big influence in the 70s. You can even look at these slacks as an example that have the flared bottom, and and you're kind of reminded of wider flared or bell bottom pants. So that's a nice kind of like that's actually a beautiful casual outfit. Probably 3 pieces and maybe a hat. And then I'll just do one more before we wrap up. This was a formal outfit. Is one of the trickiest pieces to cut out, and mostly because it wasn't drawn accurately. So as you can see, there's cutouts there, but also cutout here where her hand is. So it's not quite accurate. So we'll wrap up on that note. This is Mary Ellen. This was just a little insight, little peek into the paper doll collection.